Today on Commander Replay, Sisay plays the role of Odin and sends her Valkyries into battle. Find out who gets into Valhalla and who doesn't, next on Commander Replay. If you guys are interested in playing webcam games of Commander with me and supporting the channel, feel free to check out the Eventbrite link in the description below. Welcome back everyone, playing some Sisay's Ride of the Valkyries today. Take a look at this opening hand. It was a little weird, a lot of lands, but this is a mana-hungry kind of deck, we can make it work. We'll go ahead and keep. When there's a tutor in your command zone, lands are fine. Plus the Soul Ring speed us up a little bit, should be nice. And Offensive does give us 3 colors, so that'll be good too. So yes, I'm calling this deck Ride of the Valkyries, because I've been listening to this band called the Brothers of Metal, and most of their songs are about Valkyries and Valhalla and fun things like that. I'll post those songs in the description below, you can listen to those, and that's kind of what gave me the inspiration for the deck. But that's what we're doing today. If things go well, we will see the Valkyries descend upon our opponents. So it brings it to our turn 1. We get to go first. We draw into the Samut, Voice of Dissent. Yeah, that's going to be a big one for this deck. What are we doing first? We going tap land, or are we going... See, if we go tap land now, and then we play a second land next turn, we can still get Sisay? Yeah, I think that works. Okay. So we'll get the Path of Ancestry and pass turn like that. I think a little scry action will be good for us too, because we have some lands. We don't necessarily need more lands. I'd like to draw into things that matter. Mystic Remora coming into play for our opponent. And so, yeah, we're playing Sisay Weatherlight Captain, 2 and a white for a 2/2. It gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control. And then you may pay Wooburg, search your library for a legendary permanent card with converted mana cost less than Sisay's power, put that card onto the battlefield. So you guys have seen me play Sisay a lot, usually the Legendary Blades build. This deck is basically centered around strong legendary women from the game of Magic, and we're going to make them super aggressive and do a bunch of cool stuff with them. Sisay, a card that I just really like. A question came up about what I think one of the best designed cards over the past year and a half has been, and honestly I think it's Sisay Weatherlight Captain because you can do so much with it. It's the type of thing, it can be strong if you wanted to, it doesn't have to be. You can really just kind of build almost anything you want with this deck, so I think that makes it super cool. That's a Thalia. Yeah, Thalia's pretty cool. Let's get this. That's going to be Abzan to get that into play. So let's go for the... If we go basics, we can think about the Cinderglade. Yeah, okay, so let's go for Forest, Soul Ring, into the Mystic Remora. Nope, can't pay for that. And let's cast the Thalia Heretic Cathar. So what's fun about a deck like this, too, is that there's obviously a lot of choices. So... and then we'll get the Scry one off the Path of Ancestry. I don't think we need another land right here. Put that to the bottom. And we'll pass the turn like that. So the thing that I like is that, you know, with a deck like this, you can really build it however you want. I've chosen a bunch of cards. A bunch of them are chosen for their power in the deck. But something like Thalia, I just chose because she's a very well-liked character, especially, you know, after what her first card did. So Thalia Heretic Cathar, not super necessary for this deck to operate, but just a cool card and a cool character from the game. And there's a few of those in the deck as well. A few that, like, it doesn't have to go in this deck, but it's just a cool character. I've got Liliana Dreadhorde General in the deck, and, you know, I wanted to have some Liliana card in the deck. That's a nice one just because you can reanimate stuff with it, so this deck's going to have some power. It's also going to have a lot of flavor to it, so all cool stuff. Sylvan Library coming down for our opponent. That's a pretty good card. That's going to trigger the Mystic Remora once again. Let's take a look at what our opponents are playing. First up, we have Banana piloting Surrak Dragonclaw. 2 in Teamer for a 6/6, has Flash, can't be countered, creature spells you control can't be countered, other creatures you control have trample. A somewhat unassuming commander, but I seem to lose to it most of the times that I face it. I feel like Teamer is just really well suited to the game of Commander. It just has all the things. Red gives you the removal, green gives you the ramp, blue gives you the card draw, green also gives you really good creatures. Blue and green together give you tons of value, and red can kind of add that explosiveness with like haste or double strike and damage, and just a really potent combination of abilities that you get out of Teamer, in my opinion. There's a folio of fancies for opponent. Oh boy. We looking at a mill deck? We'll want to get our Bow of Nylea as soon as possible so that our things do not get milled. There's a Bear Umbra. That's incredibly good in this deck. What are we doing this turn? We're going to be on 5 mana. Ooh, 5 mana could put us on Samut. Samut's pretty cool, right? I don't want Samut to get blown up, though. That's a very real concern. I guess Samut's going in. Yeah, because this... Ooh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So Samut's going in because... maybe we flash Samut. Nah, why not? Let's go for it. Command Tower. Cast Samut. Opponent's lands and creatures are also going to come in tap. That's a Vraska. Yeah, we'll keep that. Vraska is removal, and removal is good. Let's do some attack, and we'll spread it out a little bit. It's still pretty early in the game. So Thalia into Surrak, and Samut into Sigarda. Anyway, so Samut gives haste, which is part of our Ride of the Valkyries combo, which I'm not going to tell you guys just yet. We'll wait for it when it happens. But there's a little bit of spiciness built into this deck for the late game. I may actually put the Bear Umbra on Samut when that opportunity comes up, because I do want to keep that alive. Sisay would be annoying to lose, but it's in our command zone, so we can always get it back. Oh, we may need an untapped land. I don't know that we're going to be able to go Anafenza and Sisay this turn, because we would need this one to come in untapped, I think, to get the colors right. Growth Spiral for opponent. So I guess that means we could just put the Bear Umbra on Samut then. Continuing on our opponents, we have Xenosai piloting Sigarda, Host of Herons. Flying, hexproof, spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. Really strong against black decks, as I've found. I've talked about it a bunch, but I used to play Shieldred. Sigarda hoses Shieldred real bad. And it does get huge very quickly with some auras, and then beats you over the head. And then you lose the game, is how that usually goes. Opponent down to 30, so they did take a card draw off the Sylvan Library somewhere. It might have been this turn. Didn't catch it. And finally, our final opponent is Frodo the Chef, piloting Muzzio, Visionary Architect. And Muzzio, 2 blue for a 1/3. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the highest converted mana cost among artifacts you control. Reveal that artifact and put it onto the battlefield. Rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Any order? Any order. Pollen Bright Druid coming in. Enters the battlefield, choose one, put a counter on a creature, or proliferate. Seems to go with the +1 counter on the Thalia, trying to buy some friends, I guess. I guess that seems fair. Opponent gonna cast their commander. It comes in tapped. There's our Vraska. Yeah, let's put Bear Umbra on Samut so that nothing happens to it. If we play the island, we won't have to use our Soul Ring right here. So let's go Bear Umbra onto Samut. Go to combat. I'll swing Samut over to the Muzzio and Thalia back to Banana. Attacking will cause Bear Umbra to untap our land, so there that is. Yeah, I think we go for Vraska. Shoot the Muzzio. Don't need any Blightsteel Colossuses coming in today. Colossusi? Colossuses. Pass the turn like that.
The word Valkyrie roughly translates to chooser of the slain, as Valkyries would choose which fallen heroes would get into Valhalla and which ones wouldn't. That being the case, I almost chose Saskia as the commander for this deck, as that seems like a really good mechanical fit, but opted to go with the tutor in the command zone instead.
Kodama's reach for opponent. Yep. Yeah, right now we are destroying our opponents in terms of mana production. The Bear Umbra, pretty ridiculous. The turn 2 Soul Ring, also super ridiculous. And I guess that's part of the problem with the fast mana rocks, is that a Soul Ring or a Mana Crypt by itself is very good, but not necessarily insurmountable, at least all of the time. It's when that gets you into another quick piece of mana acceleration, especially something that produces multiple mana, like a Bear Umbra, like a Mirari's Wake, something like that. Now you're talking about a situation where you're so far ahead of your opponents that it is really difficult for them to catch up. Now, we're low on cards, so like, let's say a white board wipe, like an Austere Command, would be a problem, but opponents are still so low on land that, you know, we're probably a little ways away from that. Maybe an Hour of Revelation. I haven't counted up the permanents, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I don't even think an Hour of Revelation we get the cost reduction yet. And yeah, so that is part of the problem with the mana rocks, but it's such a difficult thing. Everyone is so accustomed to them being in the format that taking them out causes problems, because then how do you answer something like a turn 1 Burgeoning or Exploration? It is a tricky spot to be. Like, fast mana is always bad. If you start banning mana rocks, you probably need to ban Burgeoning and Exploration. I would need to see what that world looks like and get a feel on, like, whether you ban Mana Dorks or not. Mana Dorks, they're good, but they're fragile, and they don't have haste when they come in typically. So, that does reduce their effectiveness a little bit. It gives you just a little bit more time and a little bit more ability to interact with them than someone just slamming Mana Crypt and going to all the big stuff. So, there's a bit more of a cost associated with playing Mana Dorks. Chromatic Lantern coming down for our opponent, but yeah, the whole Mana Rock debate is a tricky thing.
On the other hand, I remember, what was it, 2017, when WotC made their own 1v1 commander format and there were no mana rocks? If you played casually, it was actually a lot of fun because no one was super ahead of you on turn 4. Like, we wouldn't have this board state because there'd be no Soul Ring involved. And, you know, one of the things is that most of the board wipes are around 5 and 6 mana typically, especially if you want one with a little bit of utility to it. Sure, there's some better ones at 3 and sure there's some faster ones at 3 and 4, but a lot of the ones people tend to run are around 5 and 6. And, you know, we're already doing a bunch of ridiculous things before they get enough lands to even make that play. So fast mana essentially takes away the resource of time from your opponents. They don't have time to react to things. Brings it back to our turn. There's a heroic intervention. What are we doing this turn? Start by plussing the Vraska. That should be a pretty easy choice to make. I think we're going to get Sisay into play. Ooh, we're going to have a Sisay activation, I think. Ooh, yeah. I was thinking about getting a Tatyova because we need some card draw, but we'll get the land. I think Anafenza into Sisay is going to be really good. We can also leave up heroic intervention. Oh, my. Oh my, the things we're doing are so ridiculous. Cast Sisay. Hope we have the colors. Ooh, we may not have the colors. May not have the colors. So if that makes white, that makes colorless. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get Anafenza and Sisay before. Okay. Well, that is what it is. So we'll just use the lands then, because the lands will untap. We'll get a Scry with Sisay. Probably won't matter if we activate her, but I guess if we don't activate her, it could. Opponent's got other plans. They're going to counterspell our Sisay. Yep. That is totally fair. We still get the Scry one, though. Land on top. We're out of lands. I think we'll leave it there. Opponent's going to try to bounce our Samut, which will get rid of our Bear Umbra. Not loving that, so let's go for the heroic intervention. All right. Samut back to Frodo, and Thalia into Banana. That will untap the lands. Cast Sisay. I'm not going to scry again. I'm just going to leave the land right where it is. So I think what the plan is going to be right now is maybe get Tatyova, play the land, crack the land. That'll give us some card draw, some life gain. Life gain is a little bit relevant for the finisher in this deck. Here comes a Tatyova for opponent. Yep, it's a pretty good card. It's in our deck. Comes in tapped. Thalia, Heretic, Cathar, so good. Ooh, they have a Gaia's Cradle in play. All right, well, that's going to speed them up a whole bunch. Ooh, opponent's going to Rapid Hybridize on the Samut. That'll get rid of the Bear Umbra. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. I think we get a Lizard out of it still, though, don't we? There goes the absurd amounts of mana production. Yep, so Bear Umbra goes down, Samut stays in play, and we get the Frog Lizard. Feeling a bit exposed in this moment, though. If a board wipe happens, we're going to be in a world of hurt. Opponent deciding what to do with the Sylvan Library. We've got damage on board, so they do need to be careful. Ooh, they draw more cards. Up to 8 cards, down to 22. Ooh, that's a feast and famine for opponent. Do we have blockers? Sisay is our blocker. Means I'd probably take the hit and give up on Anafenza. On the other hand, they could just leave it there. No, they're not going to swing at us. Okie dokie. Down for that. Surrak going to take a hit right here. Feast and famine. Don't be a board wipe. I'd be perfectly happy if they just cast their commander. Be totally fine with that. Okay, that's a Garrick. That's fine. Opponent can draw some cards if they want to. Yep, gonna draw 3. Digging for answers, probably. Oh, actually, a thing that we could have done if we needed to. We could have untapped Thalia, Heretic, Cathar, and thrown her in front of the creature right there. And actually, it's got first strike, so... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that actually would have worked out beautifully. Luckily, it didn't come to that, because I may not have noticed that in the moment. Lots of keywords on Samut. Gotta remember what they all do. Was it 6 abilities? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It depends on how you count the haste and other creatures you control have haste. It's sort of one ability, but they format it like that so that players don't get confused. If you guys have ever seen a card called Kaiza, it's an old card. It says green creatures you control get +1/+1, and it gives you that question of like, does it apply to itself? So it does, and it's actually a 3/4, but it's one of the reasons why they template cards like this, where it says haste and other creatures you control have haste. Also, it matters if you're searching your library for a creature with haste or something like that. It can potentially matter in that situation. On the other hand, because I know opponents are going to be gunning for us, we should probably leave up interaction, which means not necessarily going to get to do all the Tatyova draws right here that I was hoping. Do we use Vraska and shoot Tatyova? Or do we plus Vraska and then try to do it next turn? I say we do it now. Give up on the Vraska. Tatyova's so strong. Oh yeah, there's a Rampaging Balos in the graveyard, so I think there's definitely a landfall theme in there. Also seeing Growth Spiral, Kodamas. I know those are all like standard cards, but it seems like it's going to be more than one land next turn, so get rid of that. Play the land, and we'll give up on the Tatiova thing just because I want to leave up protection this turn, so yeah. Let's do some attacking. Leave the... what should we leave back for? We can do the Thalia thing again. Banana seems to have a lot of answers, so he can take a big hit right here. Frodo can take a hit, and the Frog Lizard... Xeno can have the Frog Lizard. And that's mostly just so they don't continuously abuse the Sylvan Library. Oh, you want what we could do? We could put Imbolus' Clutches on this Gaia's Cradle, and that would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. That would get us, I think, more or less to the combo. Lots of things to think about. A lot of things in this deck. Whew, opponent's low on life. Banana at 16, Xeno at 19, Frodo at 15. We're still at 40. Nice, healthy 40. That's what happens when you're the aggressive deck. Everyone's on their back foot trying to answer you that they can't really swing back into you. So, yep, there's an Azusa. Yeah, definitely a landfall themed deck, so... Getting rid of that Tatiova, probably a very good idea. Azusa comes in tapped. Oh, Heretic Cathar, so good. That's a Finale of Devastation X3. What is opponent going for? Oh no, we lost a power off of Sisay, so... goes for a Ramonop Excavator, that seems fine. So we're not going to be able to get some of the things that I was excited about. Take a quick peek at the deck while we're passing between turns here. So we can get something up to 4 CMC. Saskia is pretty cool. Winota's kind of cool, right? How many non-humans do we have? We have a single non-human, but still not awful. Captain Sisay. Ooh, Captain Sisay with haste? Captain Sisay with haste is really good. Radha, not awful. Lots of mana. We can get Journey to Valhalla as a protection spell if we need to. It's good. Opponent's gonna Generous Gift on Sisay. Are we doing the Journey to Valhalla thing? I think we might be. Okay. Activate Sisay. Opponent's gonna respond to that. What else do they have? Gonna Beast Within Samut. That we can't do a ton about, but we can untap Thalia before that happens. So, crack the Verdant Catacombs. Ooh, that's gonna reduce our power a bit. Actually, a fairly significant amount. Crap. Crack the Verdant Catacombs. Get Canopy Vista. Untap Thalia. Hope we still have enough. It's got 3 power. This might be a little dicey. Things that we can get. Ooh, we could get Safi Eric's daughter. Yeah, I think that works. Get Safi. Send this to the graveyard. Use Safi. Protect Sisay. Opponent's firing the removal at us. I mean, we deserve it for sure, but... so far we're managing. So far we've had a lot of protection. So Sisay coming back. But we have lost a bit of steam. We need to get some power onto Sisay now. Anafenza can get us 2 power back and get us up to a 5/5. But we won't have Wooburg left after that. Opponent's really churning through our resources. Feast and Famine's gonna hit. Untap those lands. Oh, that's so good. The Azusa Ramonop thing is actually a problem. Opponent goes down to 13. Do we have lethal on them? We have lethal on them. Might just need to take them out. Although... Sigarda has 8 cards in hand. Oh, man. Tough place to be. Unless this is a board wipe. It's a Vivian Reed. Don't think they use that on a Soul Ring. No, they're going to use it on a Soul Ring. Alright then. Well, Soul Ring down. Just eating removal from our opponents. Could use a decent draw off the top. I don't know if another land is where I want to be in this moment. Need to get some type of value going. Really, yeah, we need to draw a few cards. Need to do. Or I guess we could put Blackblader Forge on something. That always works too. Feast and Famine off the top would be super good. Cage Sun for opponent. Yeah, everyone's got something now. Ooh, nice. Opponent uses the Folio to draw. We draw Joyra off the top. That helps. We're short on mana, though. We are short on the mana. There's a land. So, yep, play the land. Board wipe hasn't happened yet, so assume no one has one. Let's get Joyra into play. And we'll scry with the Path of Ancestry. I mean, here's the question. Do I want to tangle with Green-White, who's been drawing cards and has Feast and Famine? Or do I want to tangle with Ramonop and Azusa? There's an Elspeth. Nothing big really on the battlefield yet, but just tokens. Tokens are cool, right? I'm gonna put this to the bottom. Don't think it's what we need in the moment. We can kill one player and then have to deal with the other two. Surrak's low on cards, that's a thing to think about, but they'll get, what, 3 lands from the graveyard? Actually, Surrak doesn't have any lands in the graveyard. They have a Polluted Delta. Okay, they could do that nonsense. I'm seeing a lot of big spells in the deck. Court of Calling, Finale of Devastation. I think we take out the Teamer deck. 3 lands a turn is bad. Just bad. So, Banana goes down. Pass the turn. Hope our board state survives. It's gonna be real bad if it doesn't. We kind of got a lot of the stuff we want a little too early, I think. So, like, Samut is a thing you want to stick. You don't want it to get blown up. Bear Umbra, same thing. Like, you want to get past the removal when you cast those, and we just got them so early that it's like, all right, well, we got to play them, but now they're gone, and that's a headache. It's a headache. Opponent's going to plus with a Vivian, sure. Here comes a Nissa. That's fine. About to get the Planeswalker party going. Oh, that's 3/3 and flying. All right, well, opponent can get us with that if they want to. Ah, we're going to lose Anafenza. Needed Anafenza to trigger the Joyra. Crap. Yep, here it comes. Well, no, they're going to get their lands untapped. But their creatures will still come in tapped, so we can just kill them. So they do need a board wipe right here. We discard Anafenza, or some other form of protection. Teferi's protection, maybe. You can always cast their... No, yeah, creatures come in tapped. So board wipe, Teferi's protection, Fog. It's got to be something like that. Maybe a Ghostly Prison. That's an Ameria Shepherd. Hope they haven't played a land yet? Only they have Garruk in the graveyard. No, Garrick's pretty good. We'll draw 6 with that. Passes like that. So opponent's wide open to an attack from us. We should have lethal on them if everything sticks. Opponent's got double mana. They may activate this Folio right here, and I would take the card draw. As long as they don't hit like removal, bounce, something like that. It's going to be pretty good. That's a Chroma's Memorial. That's a card in our deck. That's how we give all of our stuff flying. So, you know, that they're very Valkyrie-like. Divining Top. Takes a look with the Divining Top. Worn Power Stone, all the ramp. Oh, that's a Feast and Famine. That's how we let the Valkyries fly. All right, play the Feast and Famine. I think that gets us a card draw too, right? Feast and Famine coming in. Get that card draw. That's a Journey to Valhalla. Not enough for both, sadly. Put the Feast and Famine on the Sisay. I'm going to send just a little bit more than I need to over to Xeno. I had an attack the other day where, like, I needed to kill a player, had the amount of damage to do so, and then forgot about a blocker, so I'm just going to send a little extra just in case. Need to really make sure. They do have the Chromatic Lantern, so maybe removal spell or something, but doesn't look like it. Boom! So, Xeno going down, who's been a major thorn on our side, firing all kinds of removal our way. Feast and Famine's going to trigger. Let's float some mana. Lands untap. Activate Sisay. Get Sidisi. Exploit one of the tokens. And here's our Valkyrie card. It's Stormherd. Grab Stormherd. Now, ideally, we want haste. We also need more mana to do it, but... that's the plan of this deck. That's what this deck is trying to do. Let's get Journey to Valhalla. Put on Joyra because of the Feast and Famine. We'll get to draw a card. It's a Glenelendra. Oh, well. Kind of wish we had the Glenelendra. Opponent's going to draw 3 off the Folio of Fancies. Each player draws 3. We draw some stuff. Somehow we missed a land in all of that. There's a land. How do we get 2 more mana? If we flip that thing over, that gives us 9 mana. Still 1 short. Alright, so we're not going to get the Stormherd victory, I don't think, but we'll activate Sisay and give everything flying for flavor reasons so that our Valkyries can fly tonight. Get a Chroma's Memorial, and now our Valkyries fly into battle. Bam! Down they go. Super aggressive. Fought our way through a lot of removal. Little sad we didn't get to use the Stormherd, but things did go really well for us this game, so I guess that's all a thing. I mean, I can't believe it worked, to be honest. Like, it played much better than I thought. I guess Soul Ring, Bear Umbra, all that stuff is very strong. But it was cool just coming out there, having a bunch of creatures early and that are aggressively costed. You know, Thalia is super awesome for 3 mana. What we followed it up with? Samut is really awesome for 5. So a lot of cool stuff. We didn't get to see the full storm herd descend upon everyone, but we did get the Akroma's Memorial, give all of our creatures flying and ride into battle, so that was pretty cool. This was a cool deck. I had fun playing this. If I didn't already have a Sisay deck in paper, I might build this. Although, I'm just looking at it, this deck looks very expensive. Didn't check the price, but there's some, you know, that's like $50, isn't it? That's like 40. That's, I don't even know what that is, 60 maybe? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the Ride of the Valkyries. Be sure to check out the songs in the description below that inspired this deck. And as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Anthony Amendola. Anthony, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything.